Let's talk potential number 2 wide receivers for the Vikings. All right, welcome back to the Onebar and Lupagus show. I'm Onebar with Lupagus, and we're gonna try to solve the mystery of who might be the Vikings' number 2 wide receiver in 2023, both draft and free agency. We got 6 options, 6 of them.
Yeah, there's more than one way to milk a cow, and that's what we're going to talk about here to find that number 2 wide receiver. You can do it with your mouth too. Yep, just like that. You're showing us.
Nobody does that. You're not a farmer.
Before we do, be sure to subscribe to the channel, like the vids. We are approaching 8,900 subscribers. Can't even believe we're saying that. Thank you to everybody who's subscribed so far. And also remember to hit up That's Badass Woodart. Follow him on Twitter and also drop hashtag badass in the comments for your chance to win. Fantastic. I think we're going to do a skull sign this month. Give that away.
Yeah, hell yeah. It's back there somewhere. I'm too lazy to grab it. So Badass Woodart. So number 2 wide receiver. So let's just be clear. Our assumption is Adam Thielen is gonzo. And KJ Osborne, that number 3, maybe he makes a run for number 2, but we're taking him out of the equation too.
We are, just because it's more fun to talk about new faces.
New faces, and we're going to start with free agency. But before we get into them, I went back 10 years. I went and looked at some wide receivers that we went and grabbed just for agency. I'm going to rattle these off. We haven't had that, and we haven't had a ton of luck in this department. Yeah. To be fair, I don't know if any of these were really looked at as number 2s. Maybe some of them.
Have we had any luck is the question.
Well, Jerome Simpson. We signed Jerome Simpson. Michael Jenkins, who was a Falcon. Greg Jennings, who was definitely brought in to be a number 2. Maybe even, number 2.
I think it was number 1, wasn't it, back then?
Greg Jennings. Michael Floyd. Kendall Wright. Aldrick Robinson. Tajay Sharp. And Dede effin Westbrook. So maybe the streak will be broken.
Yeah, not great. Yet Aldrick Robinson there, I think he had like 5 catches and they're all touchdowns when he was.
There were some bright spots there, but we're starting with free agency, then we're doing draft. No particular order. Let's go with one that seems to be a pretty popular name around the Vikings. DJ Chark.
Yeah, DJ Chark. Again, a guy I don't feel like he's actually hit his potential yet. He's kind of had 4 mundane seasons in the NFL. He's played on he was starting in Jacksonville, not a great offense. He did okay last year in Detroit.
Great time in Jacksonville.
But, I mean, there were so many options last year. So DJ Chark, a guy, I still think he's got maybe the best football ahead of him.
Yeah, I mean, he's still young. The thing with Chark is I always think for some reason, I get in my brain that he's just this little speedster. Fucker, he's 6'4", 205 pounds. He is a big dude, and he is fast. He is fast. That is his MO, 100%. He's just speedy.
Yeah, and he can definitely do it. He's got the body size to go up in high point of football too. So he's got everything you need for that number 2. He's an option. Again, what's his price tag going to be? I think of all the free agent options, he's going to be overpriced.
Yeah, all these guys that we're going to mention free agency seem to be anywhere from like that $9 to $12 million range. So that's where they're at. So Chark, yes, he would be nice. Was not overly healthy last year, so his stats were crap. So let's go to another one. Definitely less sexy. Former Packer, Allen Lazard, 27, 60 receptions, 780 yards, 6 touchdowns. He's just more of that, like, he's not going to be fancy. It's not going to be beautiful to watch. He's a great blocker, which I love. He's like meant to be a number 2 wide receiver.
Yeah, and he gives the Vikings something they don't have, is that big-bodied wide receiver who can go up and out-muscle a cornerback for the ball. So he'd be a beautiful red zone target, great chain mover kind of guy in a jump ball situation. The thing you worry about Allen Lazard, I mean, was his stats inflated because he had Aaron Rodgers? Is he someone who can succeed without being under Rodgers' safety net there?
I don't think so. I'm not buying that one. I think he's just a scrapper. I mean, he came up undrafted, Jacksonville, then the Packers snapped him up. He's just been working his ass off, and he's going to earn some money.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think he's going to be way overpriced when it comes to free agent market.
Well, 9 to 12 million. 9 to 12 million. He's right in that range too. Next guy up, the youngest out of the group, and probably the most questions around him, and that is Mecole Hardman, still only 24 years old, former second-round pick. Again, a guy that has been hit with injuries.
Yeah, that's the thing. When I think of Mecole Hardman, I think of him always being hurt, missing games, or not finishing games. Seems like he's always injured. But God, this guy can fly. He's almost like Jalen Rager, where you can do a lot of different stuff
Oh,
with him.
gross.
I know he reminds me of Rager. Again, he's playing the Kansas City offense, super creative, the best quarterback in the NFL throwing the football. Mecole Hardman, how he does in a new situation is very interesting to see. But of these guys, I think you probably get him at the best price.
Yeah, again, he's a gadget guy, 5'10", buck 87, speedy. If he can stay healthy, the
Yeah.
upside is through the roof. I mean, that's why the Chiefs took him in round 2. They took a flyer on him, and just injuries has been eating his ass.
I think I need to get an injury.
I bet you do. So those are free agents. There's still a bunch of free agent options out there when it comes to receiver. We didn't mention like the Myers, the big boys out there, and there's some big ones. We're trying to be a little realistic about it. So let us know in the comments. Now we're heading over to the draft. Some players that could come in day one, be number 2 wide receiver. Let's start off with this guy.
Yeah, Zay Flowers. I mean, you talk about a guy who's dangerous after the catch. It's Zay Flowers. This guy is tremendous with the football in his hands. Great speed, great vision. Look at that production he had last year at Boston College. Zay Flowers, definitely a guy I think is going to be there at 23. And, you know, if there's not more attractive options in other places, I wouldn't be surprised if the Vikings pull a trigger on him.
Yeah, I mean, this is the big question mark when it comes to the draft. Do we want to overspend in free agency, or do we want to use one of our beautiful young or early draft picks that we don't have a ton of on a receiver?
We have one of them,
and it seems everybody is very torn. So Zay Flowers is a guy that I absolutely think will be there. He's always around that early 20s all the way to mid round 2. He's just all over the place, and he would be fantastic. I would love the shit out of it. He's going to be good.
Yeah, and we'll see what his stock does after the combine. I think he's definitely a guy who could be a riser between now and the draft.
All right, another guy in the draft that would probably have to be taken in that round 1, but again, a guy that's kind of all over the place. Is people either love him or hate him.
Yeah, Jackson Smith-Njigba. And the thing is, he's not going to wow anybody with his athletic ability or his speed. He's going to probably be, when it comes to combine loose, he might be on those lists. But what he does, he knows how to get open. He understands how defenses are attacking him, and he can find the open spots. And that's what he does. He's a great route runner, good hands. He likes to, I mean, he's a competitor, but his ability to get open is huge. And that's why he's considered to be, you know, anywhere you see top 15 to top 25 in almost every mock.
Yeah, not sexy at all. Not fast, not overly athletic. His big thing is he had 1 year of college production, big time production, but last year hurt, only played in 60 snaps, pretty much did nothing. So he's going off of that 1 year. And he's the one receiver that I'm just really like, I don't want him taken round 1 at all. I want nothing to do with it. I think he's like going to be a fantastic number 3, maybe. And I could be very wrong in a couple of years, look back at this and he's the best receiver in the league. But there's just too much risk around him. So the first round pick, I need something more stable.
I love him. I want him so bad.
I don't know. But yeah, there we go. So third option, Rashee Rice. And I love this man. I love him. I want him bad. This is going to be just come down to where he goes. And usually it's like round 3, sometimes round 4, sometimes round 2.
I see. Yeah. Well, I think he's a round 2 pick, and I think that's where we're going to be screwed because we don't have a round 2 pick to get Rashee Rice. You trade down and get a guy like this, but yeah, I mean,
you call him Rashee?
I do. I call him Rashee. I love him too, and I don't think we've talked about him enough. And he's electric. He's just an electric playmaker. Look at that production. He's got the size. I mean, this guy with Justin Jefferson and KJ Osborne, yeah, he's definitely could be your number 2 wide receiver. I still think he's probably a round 2 guy, but you know the combine will help sort that out.
I think he ends up going in round 4 or round 3. He's so good. Watching him play, that you could throw it anywhere. That dude goes up and gets it. He makes cornerbacks look just silly. And after he gets the ball in his hands, dude's just smooth. Everything you read about him, he's like meant to be a number 2 wide receiver. I don't think anyone thinks he's also going to be a number 1, maybe down the road, but he could step in and be a number 2 and be damn good. He is one of my draft crushes immediately. I love him.
He's fantastic, and I feel like we haven't talked about him nearly enough. You talk about checking the boxes. This dude checks about every single box there is when it comes to wide receiver. So Rashi Rice, Rashi Reese, whatever you want to call him.
It is
This guy's
Rasheed.
fantastic.
It's
This
not
guy's
Rashy.
fantastic. This guy's fantastic. Yeah, I'm glad you put him on here because I think we need to start getting a lot more attention on this guy because I think he's gonna be a special player.
And the other thing about Smith and Jigba, he's just straight up slot. That's all he's played in college. That's it.
I think I said that about Justin Jefferson once too.
Yeah, but
back in the day.
Jefferson played outside in college. And Jigba's played just on the slot.
Well, when Jefferson came out, everybody said he's a slot receiver. That's it. But
he did, but he's played on the outside.
It's fine. My number 2 guy can play on the outside. Jackson will be fine.
I just hate how much you want Smith and Jigba. I just don't want them.
I do.
I'm probably very wrong.
No, I'm
probably very wrong.
I gotta be honest. I love all 3 of these. And if we're choosing, if we're told to choose in this, what your thought was when we put this thing together. But I like the rookie route. I do.
Yeah, I like the rookie route. If I could actually choose, and this is assuming he goes in round 3, it's Rice, and it's not even close. We got to go defense early. I think everybody's going to think about that. If a guy like, we didn't put Addison. Guys like that all of a sudden fall. Yes, it's a whole different ball game. But I would take Rice, and if it was a free agent, I honestly think I'd go Lazard.
Yeah, I don't know.
Just from these guys.
I think I'd probably go Chark with what was out there. But yeah, it's interesting to see what the Vikings do. There's definitely more than one ways to
way or another.
I was say skin a horse, but I don't think that's right either.
I think it's cat. Skin a cat.
I think that's right. Skin a cat. Who the hell skins a horse? That's horrifying to think about.
It is. Let us know in the comments what you would do if there's a guy we didn't talk about, which there's plenty of. Put them in the comments. We'd love to hear it because this is the best time of the year. We just hope and wish and dream that these guys are going to be Vikings.
That's right. And then also dream about this. The nursery rhyme never stated that Humpty Dumpty was an egg.